We have multiple products because MOCA it's not anymore just an app. I now call it an ecosystem because it's a bunch of apps and solutions, websites that work together and seamlessly one with another. I just always call it like the I want to be the Apple of crypto. Like everything just works so perfectly together that you won't want to leave the ecosystem.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Smart Economy Podcast, where we ask your favorite builders the questions you wish you could ask yourself. This is a production of neonewstoday.com, and I'm your host, Dylan Grabowski. In this episode, we're joined by Zeymer Montes, the CEO and founder of MOCA, an ecosystem comprised of a wallet, point of sale, and messenger solutions. In this conversation, we discussed the problems of onboarding into crypto, the recent ETH Mexico conference, how MOCA plans to become the Apple of crypto, onboarding brick and mortar businesses into the MOCA ecosystem, MOCA's plans for a lifetime referral network, and so much more. Just a reminder, nothing said on this podcast is a solicitation to buy or sell any tokens, and that the guest or host might hold tokens discussed in any given episode. You can check out a disclaimer at www.neonewstoday.com. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please consider rating and reviewing on your favorite podcasting platform and sharing with your friends and family. Every rate, review, like, and comment really does help us reach more people and bring you more of your favorite guests. I really enjoyed this conversation with Zay, and I hope you enjoy it too. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smart Economy Podcast. Super excited today to be joined by Zeymer Montes, the CEO and founder of MOCA. Zay, how are we doing today?
Just recovering from a little bit of flu, but I'm great. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I got rid of the flu before today because I really wanted to be here. So thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, man. Super happy you were able to heal up and get ready for this. We've known each other now for going on 2 years. First met in Vegas at what was it, Rare Evo?
Rare Evo was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. What were you doing in Vegas at Rare Evo then? Because I remember we went out to get tacos and like
We had a booth. We had a booth at Rare Evo.
You were in the Thor chain and Maya chain section, yeah?
Yeah. Because at the moment, we'll talk more about that, but at the moment, MOCA was only an amazing idea, and it was just a proof of concept of a wallet, a decentralized wallet with Maya and Thorchain as the swap providers, basically. So that was it. That was everything that we had. And we had a working demo of the point of sale, but it wasn't like fully there. It was just kind of like a proof of concept thing. And that's what we were showing there at the event.
Yeah, I remember we had dinner and we were talking about the point of sale. And I myself, I've had this long-term dream here in Denver to be able to go to a brewery or to an ice cream shop or something and be able to like buy food with crypto, not necessarily using like Bitcoin specifically or anything like that. It's just always been like a dream. And part of that dream was to have a POS, like something installed in the local store. So when we were chatting at Rare Evo, like that was what perked my ear up about what you were working on. And so it's super cool to A, finally have you on the pod, and B, to see how far MOCA has come since that initial conversation. But before we dive down the MOCA rabbit hole, I just want to get like the basics out of the way. So everybody has an origin story. When was the first time you heard about Bitcoin or Ethereum? And like, were you like me and everyone else where you just kind of looked past it and then came back later?
Yeah, kind of, because I'm from 95. I was born in 95. So I don't remember if I was in middle school or in high school when like Bitcoin got to I think it was high school. When one of my friends, my best friend actually, I don't know, but he heard about Bitcoin. So he was like, there's this thing that it's a coin and it's a digital coin. Like, I had no idea what was it. Like, up until like few years ago, still was like, I don't know what it is. It's just something magic there in somewhere in space. But at the moment, it was crazy. Like, actually, I think he understood what it was, and I couldn't. Like, I just trust him because he was like super techy, and he was always listening to all this news about tech, and he heard about Bitcoin, and he was like, "Let's buy some Bitcoin," and it was cheap at the moment, so it was like, yeah, let's put, like, we're in Mexico, so it was like, let's put 1,000 Mexican pesos. That is like $50, something like that, and we're going to do that. But at the moment, we didn't have like a bank account, like a regular bank account. Around those days, there was this. I don't know if you know this, but there's like this 7-Eleven store here in Mexico, kind of, that it's called Oxxo, and it's everywhere. And they came up with this like debit card. So we got one of those so that we could buy online, but that card was not supposed to work online on most of the e-commerce. So it was weird, and we were never able to purchase Bitcoin. We tried like for a month or something like that, and we're not gonna go and ask our mom like, "Hey, can you help us buy this thing?" And especially it was like 1,000 Mexican pesos at the time. We were young, so it was like, if I try to like ask my mom for it or my dad and try to explain them why and where I'm putting this money, they would just say, "No, you're crazy." I think they would today. But at the moment, that's how I came to Bitcoin. We tried, we stopped trying, and then years later we saw it, and we remember that those days like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and we are like, dude, you remember when we were trying to buy Bitcoin? Like right now, that will be a lot. But I don't feel bad of not being able to buy it, because I think with the zero knowledge I had about crypto at the moment, I might have lost my my access to the wallet, and I will just have nothing. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that there's some seeds that are going to be sprinkled in throughout our conversation of why you're building MOCA that might kind of tie into your initial friction when it came to
yes,
Bitcoin. But all right, so let's fast forward a little bit. Then you stumbled on Bitcoin in high school. You tried to buy it, you couldn't, and then
yes,
you just like forgot about it. So what happened then? What like field were you working in after you left college? Were you working in tech? And
yeah,
how did your work in tech kind of bring you back to working in blockchain?
yeah. During my university years, I was working in tech, but it was mostly like electrical engineering, like nothing software related, but still it was engineering, so that worked. Nothing related to anything MOCA or nothing related to crypto. Then when I graduated, I started working on software, like just Web2 regular software. And I started to realize that there's people that knows a lot about the software and how to like do good software, but sometimes like the good developer, the best developers, they have no idea about the user experience. Like, you have to have someone that is really good with user experience and doing good QA of the products. And that's what I started realizing when I was managing more projects and more people on Web2 things. Also, even in Web 2, there's a lot of things that people assume that they will just work and be like magic. Like, that's how it works and that should work. And they don't think of what's behind it, you know? Like, I had to talk to the client. Sometimes it was like a big company and they were wanting this solution that they can see in their minds, like they can envision, but they don't know how to do it. So they hire us, and it for them was like, I just want to click this button and then everything happens by magic. And that's what they wanted. And then the AI came into realization, into the world of development. And now people think that it's as simple as asking like ChatGPT, hey, can you do a website that does this and just hit a button and it works? And I think AI has hurt a little bit the development process because people think that it's so simple. It's not. But those are the things that I learned from my years in Web 2. Like, if you want to do a good product, you have to know both things. You have to know the tech stack that you're using, but you also have to know what the user is trying to do and how they're trying to do it. So UX is really important, and QA is super important, and like listening to the clients or the users, it's super important to have a working product. So those are the things that I kind of got from Web2 and keep them, and that's my motto. Like, these have to be simple enough that my mom can use it, or that depending what I'm building, but like, if it's not understandable just by looking at the product, looking at the screen, and you don't know what's happening, it's not a good product.
Hmm.
So that's what I took from my Web 2 years. And yeah, it was, I was there for like 3 years. So I think that worked a lot because I started just developing myself, and then at the end I ended up with like 15 developers under me, like, and a lot of different products and a lot of different clients, like just asking for crazy things that some were possible, some were not, or not at least with the current tech. Yeah. So how can you translate the idea of the client to actual product? That's something that I got really good at, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just with developers and clients in this kind of vertical alone. There's always kind of a gap between the technical and the non-technical. And even when we go and talk about like marketing purposes, a client can always say, I want this type of marketing narrative, but they can't really like give specifics on how they want the campaign to look, how they want the image to look. And so there's always this disconnect and this strange dance that needs to be done between the two different parties that are coming together to create something. So I agree with everything that you just said. Having the experience of being on both the technical and the non technical side acts as a bridge to really create what the client's looking for, but also give directive in a way that the technical team is able to build in that manner. So I can't wait to delve further into that. But before we do, the last time we saw each other in person wasn't Rare Evo in Vegas. I saw you in Monterrey in East Mexico. And so,
Yes.
and MOCA was also a sponsor of the asado, which was
Yeah.
delicious. So I went down to East Mexico for two reasons. First, I was getting a little disheartened by what I was seeing in blockchain and crypto, having gone to like large name brand conferences and just seeing businesses shill their products and talking to BD guys and not necessarily talking to the community, connecting with folks who need blockchain, who need crypto. So, A, that was one of the reasons why I went to East Mexico. And B, I wanted to get a finger on the pulse for what's happening with crypto and Latam and where does blockchain fit? What are like the rules that this brings to this region of the world, to a people who very much need it? But before we talk about those things, what was your perspective of East Mexico like? I loved it. I loved visiting Monterrey. I'm excited to go again
Yeah.
this year.
I want to be there next year also, and I think it's a great event. Like, you can see the effort that they putting into like bringing nice people, nice speakers. Um, I was talking to Mexi about it, and I was just giving them some feedback. I'm like, I think you're missing like a huge name. Just that will be like the difference in this year and next year, like exploding. Like, if you can bring one of the crypto big name guys, you're set. Because the other part, they already know how to do it pretty well. Like, the event was amazing. Like, everything was well done, even though it's not like a super huge event. Like, it works like any other expo related to crypto. Like, they have that part already figured out. And even the people that was talking and like giving some conferences or anything, like, they were good. Like, the topics were good. I just think that they were missing this big name that they can just post everywhere online. Like, and like bring more people, or more protocols, or even more sponsors for them will be great. I guess like that was my main feedback. But yeah, I'm excited for next year. I think they're gonna do a way better job, and I can wait.
I'm curious because if you go, I've last year I went to 10 different countries, mostly for work. And every time you go to a blockchain conference, and no matter what part of the world it's in, the presentations are given in English.
Yeah.
So like what was the value add of being able to go to Mexico and to watch presentations in Spanish? Like what do you think that does for building like a regional community? And how do you think that like empowers a group of people to be able to speak in their native tongue and convey concepts more easily using the language that they're most familiar with?
Um, I think I don't remember. I really don't remember. But I think my conference was in English though, because most of the speakers were native English speakers. But I heard some of them in Spanish, and I think what we need to like come into realization is that there's different type of people that attends these events. In this case, I realized that there was a lot of students coming to the event. And that's great because that's the people that in the future they will either use the products or develop new products. So that's great. In like starting to bring younger people into the crypto ecosystem and let them know that all of this is happening, and it's not just this big app like that they know because that's the one that it's more popular, but there's like all these other things that you can do, like smart contracts, and you can do like DeFi solutions, and you can have decentralization on all these other topics. And that's opens like that opens to you a lot of ideas. Like maybe you work in something non-crypto, but you can start thinking, how can I implement this into whatever I'm doing? So I think that's really important to see, like students, young people, young students going to the event. For them, I think being able to hear everything in your native language, it's super important, because especially with these topics, like the terms are so complicated that if you don't know what they're talking about, and now you have to translate it in your mind, because like you're listening to another language translate, and then like kind of see what, like get what they're talking about. It's hard like that I can see how that can be overwhelming for somebody, that especially if like they're not so fluent in English. That can be really overwhelming.
Hmm.
So for them, it's great. For the builders, I think there's not a big issue, because like everything software related most of the time is in English. And like you and me, like I'm from Mexico, but I have to speak English, because like everybody that I talk about crypto with, their native English speakers, or even the ones that are not. Like there's this agreement, like of let's speak in English. Like that's how it works. Like that's like everything is English. Even the docs, like you go to any protocol docs, and like all the technical documentation, it's in English. Like all the websites in English. And so, yeah, I think for the technical people, I don't think that it's like an issue. But if you want to bring more people into crypto, I think it's really important to have the native language available and present, and be the main language of the event, especially if you want to call it East Mexico. Well, you should be speaking in Spanish, and like putting most of the things in Spanish.
Yeah. I do want to note that I've probably been to, at this point in my crypto career, I've probably been to maybe 40 different conferences. And I heard one of the best questions that I've ever heard at ETH Mexico. And it was from somebody in the audience. And it was an older woman, maybe in her late 50s, early 60s. And she asked, why is it so difficult to teach the older generations about blockchain and crypto? Why can't we use words that are more understanding for them? And I just thought that was a fantastic question. And it's something that we always forget when we're building. We always think about the devs that we're working with, or the cutting edge new age users who are 35 and younger. But there's still a whole world out there of somewhat technologically savvy individuals, folks with money, older
Yeah.
people, and they feel like they're not being connected to this industry and to this asset class. And I just thought that was a fantastic question.
Yeah.
So,
They feel excluded totally. Like they feel that they are being left behind.
yeah.
And that's not good. Like even if it's not like for business purposes, it's not good because like you don't want to isolate technology from anyone. Like technology was like the main purpose of technology is to improve lives. That's what I think. That's my personal definition of the purpose of technology. So if you are like uh, picking who can access the technology, then it's not fulfilling its full potential.
Mhm.
That's why all these new tech, like even AI or even internet, when it started, it didn't stay in the universities. It went out to the world because that's how you improve the world and life. And I don't know if somebody asked a question about that in my panel in Mexico, but I was basically talking about that and I was answering that. And that's something that I'm pushing so hard. I was just like 30 minutes ago, I was just talking with my UX girl that she's amazing. Shout out to Hime. And we were designing some new features that we're doing. And on the designs, she had transaction hash. And I was like, no, please write down uh, uh, transaction ID slash transaction hash. Like the main thing will be ID because if I see that, I know that it's an ID of the transaction. The
Mhm.
hash, a lot of people won't know what it is, but the ones that know will see it and they will know what to do.
Totally.
Like the ones that know what it is, they won't even read it. They will just do whatever they have to do. So those small things, those small wording can actually make the difference. The example that I also gave on my panel was address. The address in crypto, like everybody knows what it is. But if I tell my mom, give me your address, she will say like her actual address of her house, you know? And she won't get it. I'm like, give me your Bitcoin address. And she will be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
But if we start calling it like account number, that makes sense because they are used to that term. So that's something that we're kind of working into, like kind of translating into actual terms that they already are used to using. And it makes sense. For example, something totally different that is not related, but it kind of does. The Save logo in Word and everything, it's floppy disk. Nobody uses floppy disk anymore, but they know that that means save. Like
Right.
if you see that, like it's not the meaning that it had before because before it was actually saving it on a floppy disk at the beginning. Now it's just saving your computer or even in the cloud. But you're not gonna create a new logo or a new term like upload and save for cloud. You will just make people confused.
Mhm.
Then just keep using save with the floppy disk. It's the same thing. Like I know it's not an account number. I know it's not a transaction ID, but it makes sense because they already know that term. And basically looking at from an abstract position, it's the same thing. It's an identifier that I use to find my transaction in the chain. So it can be a transaction ID. So it's not a number. I know it has letters in it. Let's say that it's hexadecimal. Now it's a number, you know? If you're like super technical, you can make it work. That's your account number. But it's not an account. It's a private key that comes from derivating blah 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 an HD pass. I'm not gonna explain that to my users. Like it's an account. Yeah, you have an account. They don't even know what's a wallet. For them, an account it's more relatable than actually a wallet because
Mhm.
their bank account makes more sense. So this is your crypto account. Okay, I get it. So this is my account, and this is my account number. Get it. So that's the mindset that I have and how I'm trying to explain this to the people.
Totally. So when you launch the product, are you going to be focusing on the Mexico region first, or are you going to have kind of a global approach to the launch?
We have multiple products because MOCA it's not anymore just an app. I now call it an ecosystem because it's a bunch of apps and solutions, websites that work together and seamlessly one with another. I just always call it like I want to be the Apple of crypto. Like everything just works so perfectly together that you won't want to leave the ecosystem. Um, and this depends on which app or which product, because all of the products are going to be available on the web version. So you can just go to a website and use the products, even the wallet, even the point of sale. So even if you don't want to download, or if your Apple or Play Store country version doesn't allow you to download, because we are always struggling with Apple and Play Store of like compliance, all that. Um, we are not available in all the countries on the stores because of that compliance that we're currently working on. We are working on adding new countries, but it's available on web. Said this, um, we have some small hubs that we are going to approach first, like a small beta testing of the products and the solutions. We are already in contact with people from different countries, and especially like cities that are big enough, but maybe it's not the capital of the city of the country. But there's like big enough cities that you can find like all type of businesses, and we have people that we are gonna leverage them so that they can help us put, for example, bring businesses into the point of sale. And also, we are going to do a lot of marketing efforts of the wallet and also the messenger that we can talk more about, um, so that we can put like more digital presence of those products on those hubs on those places, so that you go to a place and you see like those signs that say Visa or Mastercard here. You will see one that says crypto allow and the MOCA logo. And then you start going to YouTube or you start going to your websites and you start seeing the same logo. So we're kind of trying to have this strategy of putting the logo and the name of MOCA everywhere in that like pinpointed city so that you can see it everywhere. And now it looks relatable and legit, because that's important, because people need to trust what we're building. um, and we want to give them that feeling of like, oh, it's big, like when you see a brand that it's everywhere, you think like it's a huge brand because it's everywhere. So I don't know who they are and I don't know where they came from, but they're just big because I see it everywhere. So that's kind of what we're gonna do on the first batch of places that we want to go and test.
Yeah, we had this conversation in Monterey. It was kind of like a chicken or the egg situation. Like, do you build the thing that everybody uses first, or do you kind of like build the narrative of the thing and then people come and use it? And I appreciated the approach that you described to me, which is basically what you just said, where you're going in and you're planting seeds into big enough areas where people will be able to use the app and they'll be able to use the app for payments and they'll be able to use crypto for payments.
Yeah.
um, One of the kind of things that's always stuck out to me, and we've had issues with this here in Denver, by we partnered with local breweries to make it easy to redeem beer, using a POS system that we gave them. The brewery we partnered with, their bartenders couldn't even use the simple tablet that we gave them to scan a QR code on people's phones. So we saw that there was just like a stupid high barrier for something that seemed so simple.
Yeah.
So what's kind of your approach with introducing the POS to merchants? A lot of merchants, particularly mom and pops, retail store merchants, not all of them are young 20 something, 30 somethings that are super tech savvy. Maybe they're using a POS system that's 25, 35 years old, and they're not so easily adaptable to change. What are you envisioning to kind of break down that barrier and make it easy for the MOCA POS to be usable in these stores?
Yeah. There's also like we're trying to approach different type of public depending on the product and the stage that we are working on. For example, for the wallet, we're going to start with like the people that already know crypto, because
Mhm.
the current version of the wallet, it works really well, but it's not the easy wallet that that I have in my mind. Like we are still working on some missing links that will make it super easy for someone that doesn't know. So for the wallet, it's gonna be focused on the people that it's tech savvy and kind of knows the wallet, the crypto for now. But for example, for the point of sale, there's a lot of market. Like we can even start with the people that are young and have like businesses, and that's a lot. Like we won't be able to actually give all the attention that we will want to just that market if we want to. But that's not the end goal. So we are working on making this as seamless and as easy as possible. So, for example, for the point of sale, we make the interface, the UI, to look as similar as possible as the ones that they already have for the bank, for the credit card. So if you are a store and you already charging people with a credit card, you already know how to use that one.
Mm-hmm.
Just by looking at the point of sale app, you will know what to do because it's basically the same thing, just with the mocha colors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So just by looking at that, you can kind of get the idea of what you're doing, even if there's nobody telling you how to do it. And I think I gave it to you and I let you test it. I know you're more tech savvy than a lot of the people out there, but I was doing that test all over the event, and I was like giving away like my, well, not giving away, but lending my phone and letting them test the point of sale. I was saying, this is a point of sale app. That's it. Like that, charge me $15. And they were just like looking at it. They take like 5 seconds just to like look at what they're trying to understand what they're looking at. They look at me, click on something like asking with the eyes, am I doing it right? But I wasn't answering and saying anything. I was just looking at them hesitate, but actually doing it. So that was really great to see because they were hesitating, but they were doing it correctly. So they will charge me, and then the QR code appears, and they're like, even though I wasn't actually paying at the moment, um, they were just their natural instinct was to show me the QR code. It was like, am I done? Like, is this correct? And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to show it to the guy that's gonna pay or the girl that's gonna pay. So, but you did it perfectly. So I actually tested and it worked. And I tested with people young and older people, and everybody that I tested it with were able to actually charge me the amount that they were supposed to. So that was great.
I want to interject for a second because if somebody is listening to this and is maybe from like like the United States or Europe or Australia, the systems that they're used to paying for things are like taking out your credit card and tap scanning a puck, or actually giving your credit card to somebody, or using your phone to tap scan and pay. But when you go to like Mexico or to Argentina or to Brazil, the population actually uses like a mobile payment service for doing payments. So there's already this hurdle that a lot of folks in Europe and America might not quite understand when it comes to mobile payments. So can you just like take a quick little second to describe how I might be able to go to like a street vendor, a grandma who is a street
Yeah.
vendor who has a bank account, and just describe the system in Mexico about how I can pay for something using my phone and how she intuitively already knows how to accept payment because of the way that the payment system works.
Right now, that your question has two things that are important to mention. The first one is, this is what I'm explaining is for the business owner or the actual employee that it's on the store. That's what I'm explaining right now. The other side is the person that it's paying.
Mm-hmm.
For them, they already have to know what's a wallet, and they already have to have a wallet and being able to pay. Because if not, like, it's hard to explain them what's a wallet, and they need to do this and buy some crypto and then blah blah blah, all this part. Assuming in this stage, assuming that the user, um, they already know what they're doing and they have a wallet, the one that they, doesn't matter which one they are using, it doesn't have to be the Mocha wallet. They just have a wallet and they have balance in their wallet in Ethereum or Bitcoin or any other one of the main coins that are out there. Let's assume that case. So the hurdle can be for the business owner or the employee that it's trying to charge someone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see it right now. but this is a test that I have right here in my phone. So this is the lock screen. So if you have a tablet, because there's a lot of restaurants or businesses that the tablet it's like accessible for people just
Hmm.
going around. So you will want to have it locked. So we have a lock screen, and once you're unlocked, this is the app. This is how it looks. So you can just put here the amount that you want to charge someone. So if I want to charge $15 US, that's there. So this is how much I'm gonna charge to you. And then I just hit continue and it should generate a QR code. That's it. So just put the amount, hit continue. That's it. Show these to the guy or the girl that it's gonna pay. They know what to do. That's it. That's
Hmm.
the idea. And going back to the other thing that you mentioned, that in the Western they're not so used to like these type of devices, but everybody knows what to do when they see a QR code. They know that they need to open their phone, the camera, and scan it. The current version that I just showed you, this only works right now with the MOCA app and the MOCA supporting apps. There's other apps that support the MOCA protocol because it's on a specific QR code. But now I'm going to talk of something that is coming and we're testing, and I think that's something that you will like. And it's called Any Wallet. It's pay with any wallet.
Mm.
And it's not only any wallet, it's actually any phone because the QR code that it's going to be generated from here, this QR code, it's going to be different. So if you scan the QR code, it will open a website for the business that you're paying. It's a website that has the logo of the business, the name of the business, and it will show you how much you need to pay. And it will ask you to select the token that you want to pay with. So you select the token, and then it will show you this is the address and this is the amount of the token that you need to send. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. And we're also going to have like some of the major uh, wallets, some like quick button actions. And if you have like the MOCA wallet, you can just hit there and it will open the MOCA wallet with that specific information pre-filled so that you can just sign it. So even if you don't know like how like what it is like this device that they're charging me with, it's a phone. But if you don't know what's happening, you see the QR code, you scan it with your iPhone camera, like the actual iPhone camera. You don't need to have an app, and it will open this site that says, uh, I don't know, like just Mocha Cafe. This Mocha Cafe wants to charge you $10. Please choose a token. You choose it, and that's it. Pay to this address this amount. Easy as that. So that's simple. Like if you know how to scan a QR code, you can do it.
So let's say I have on my wallet USDC or Bitcoin or Ethereum, and the Mocha Cafe only accepts USDT.
Yeah.
What will the process look like on the back end if I don't have USDT but I do have tokens? Will the Mocha Cafe be able to
Yeah.
accept my
For
tokens?
for for the user, the vendor and the actual user that is buying, they don't know what's happening in the background, and they don't have to know. That's that's why it has taken us so long, because there were actually missing links on this equation to make it work. Like the tech wasn't there, and there's things that we actually developed from scratch because there were missing some like really tiny steps on making this work so that you can pay with USDT and the business will get USDC because they want USDC. You can even pay with Solana if you want, and they will get USDC, or with XRP, and they will get USDC. Whatever you want to pay with, as long as it's on the list of supported tokens, you can pay with. We'll give you an address and an amount, and then the business will get their USDC. That's as simple as it goes. And we will manually have a listener in the background for the transaction that you're sending because we're listening to the actual address. That's the beauty of crypto. Since the address are public and everybody can listen to what's happening to an address, we already know where are you supposed to send the assets. So in that moment when we show it to you, we start listening to that address. So we don't even need to know which address are you paying from. I just need to know the amount and where are you paying to. Once you pay, we know that you paid. It's registered in not even in the actual chain. But if, as long as it's in the mempool of the chain, we know that you already sent it. So depending on the amount and depending on the token and the chain, we have some rules of trusting. If it's like $5, well, just by you sending this transaction to the mempool, we trust it. But if it's I don't know, like $1 million transaction, we're not gonna trust. We're gonna wait for confirmations, or we're gonna let the business owner, like on real time, it will say processing. Like we got the transaction, but it's processing, like the bank, for example. But if it's like a really fast chain, we can change it to accept it. Like you got the money. All that it's being handled in the background by us, and that's the hard part, like making that as seamless as possible as just seeing the check mark appear, like, hey, green check mark, you got it, like that's good.
What are the processes on the background that you're doing for these token conversions? Are you leveraging like an L1 to L1 swapping protocol? Are you leveraging a third party service?
We are using multiple things depending on the token, the change, the route, and everything that's happening. We are using also Thorchain and Maya and some other things that I'm not allowed to disclose right now, but you will see when we do it. And what's happening is that everything that we have to do, and that's why, like, this is possible with like these apps that are centralized exchanges. Of course, you can do this really easily, but everything that we do is decentralized, or most of it is decentralized and private and self custody. So that was the hard part. Like, do this in a decentralized way, keeping the self custody and being compliant with everything all over the world. That starts to become hard to do, and it's like juggling on. Uh, you always have to give something. If you want to have something, you have to give something else. Uh, so right now we're like juggling with this balance of how can I make it as simple as possible and as bulletproof or error proof or user proof, but still being decentralized and private and blah blah blah, all these things. Like, it will be really easy if I made my own smart contract and let them know, like, hey, send everything to this address and it's mine, and I will just do the process for you because you are dumb and you can make a mistake. That's the way that it might feel, you know. But that's not the case. Like, people is smart; they just don't know how to do things. But that doesn't mean that they are dumb, you know. Once they know how to do it, they will keep on doing it correctly. The thing is, make it as simple enough that they can do it the first time correctly. And that's why I'm like, select the token first. Okay, which one do you want to pay with? Okay, then I'm like, this is the address that you need to. And there's a disclaimer there that says, make sure to copy the exact address and verify it before sending the transaction. And this is the amount of token. And then there's a disclaimer that says, copy the exact amount and make sure that you don't modify it, blah, blah, blah. Like, making sure that you know what you're doing. And I know that people don't read. So most of the time, they don't read the disclaimers, but still, it's there big and with like highlighted color. And also, like, the copy action is there. Like, you don't have to like manually select it and copy it from the phone. It's like a button that says copy, because you can left out one character, something can go wrong while you're copying. So we want to like, how bulletproof can this be, but still being private, self custody, and decentralized? Like, I don't want to connect. Like, I don't want to ask permission for me to use your wallet. Like, I don't want to ask like give access to this web page for like accessing your account and signing transaction, because that's like, even though there's a lot of solutions out there that can make that happen and can be really secure, it's still open to somebody trying to leverage that for malicious intents, you know? So the less access that MOCA has to your wallet, better for you and better for us, because that's less responsibility for us, you know?
Yeah. So let's talk about the wallet creation process then, and onboarding in general. When a new user onboards into MOCA, how is the wallet being created? How are their keys being stored? And what happens if like I lose access to the app? Will I be able to get my assets on MOCA again?
Um, the thing is, the current wallet right now, the one that I'm telling you, this is focused on people that already know what they're doing. That's like a regular wallet creation. You have the key store, you can download it, you get your mnemonic, you can save it, you derivate the addresses, and that's it. That's the current wallet situation. But we now have another solution that it's out there, and the people that are ready that are using the messenger, that it's something that it's in alpha, but it's like an open alpha. We have a new login method. And again, we're giving something like we're giving up something to get something. We with this new method, you can decide if you want to trust yourself and only yourself into keeping the recovery backup. Like, I'm an expert, I know what I'm doing. I don't want MOCA to have anything uh, about my account. I will keep my recovery backup. Great. That's good. That's better for us. But we have this multi-party computation derivation working that now you can allow us to keep one of your shares encrypted with your PIN. So we don't even have access to that recovery unless we have your PIN and some other things that are more complicated to explain right now. But even like, we made sure that we cannot know which of these recoveries in the database, everything is encrypted, but we don't know with which one of all these list of gibberish is yours. You're the only one that can like put in place the puzzle that it's the ID of the row in the database of this gibberish that it's your recovery account. And
So
even if somebody get access to the database and they want to try to like brute force the pin, they need more than the pin to just decrypt the actual recovery, you know. So we have a way of like, if you're a normie, that we want to call them like new users, if you're somebody that are not tech savvy and you don't know nothing about crypto, um, and you don't care about it, like you might not be even using crypto in the messenger, you don't care about recovery because you're not going to have money there. By default, we save that for those users, we save the recovery encrypted with all these things that I just explained in a separate database. And whenever you lose it, like you can just do the process in your phone to just recover your account. So that's something that is working right there.
yeah, so when we were in Monterey, we were also talking about the messenger and where the data of the messages is stored. And you were talking about how the information of the messages is stored in a decentralized manner for two purposes. One, to be decentralized, but two, because it took responsibility away from MOCA. So, can you share more about the back end data
That
management?
was what we're going to. That's on phase two of the messenger. Right
Okay.
now on this, because right now what our main focus is to actually build the messenger, build a good messenger. I'm always just telling people, I will be really glad that 95% of the people that uses the messenger don't use any crypto features. That will mean that the messenger is so good that people is only using it because it's so easy to use as a messenger, and then they will eventually get into the crypto part without knowing. But right now we're focusing on building a really, really smooth, good, private, super private. We're using Matrix in the background. That it's like a protocol that it's there for messaging. That it's super complicated and super secure, and it's really hard to actually have this experience of instant decryption. You know, because uh, one of the things that we struggled with was the push notifications,
Mhm.
because the message arrives to your device encrypted and your device decrypted. So we know that you got a notification, but we don't know what's in it. So it was a whole process just to trigger a background process in the app to actually decrypt on your device the notification and then change the content of the notification so that you can actually see the message there. So those are the kind of things that when you're doing something as secure as MoCA Messenger, that's why it's hard to do it and to do it well and to do it fast.
Mhm.
We're taking our time. We're ensuring that everything is secure, that it's private, and that it's good to use. But then people are used to something that it's not as secure and that it's so instant because some of them are not even encrypted. So you're used to like, oh, I send a message and it just send, and the other people got it like instantly. Getting to that point with all these security measures, it's hard. We're getting there, like we're really close, and we have these features that are like so similar to what you have there, or even better than what you already have there, and they work encrypted and all these flaws that we're talking about. That's what we're working right now. We already have in the scope to actually go to a decentralized database for all the messages. That's something that it's going to happen eventually, but that's going to happen once we have volume users and also once we have funding for the project. Because the messenger is going to work also with the point of sale and the wallet and business. Because you're going to be able to pay on the point of sale through the messenger. Just like scanning a QR code through the messenger, you're going to be able to pay a coffee. Or you can send money to somebody else through the chat interface, something like what WeChat does in China,
Mhm.
but decentralized, self custody, secure, encrypted chat and crypto features. So that's the end goal eventually of this.
Awesome. So we're kind of nearing the end of our hour, and we've talked about Messenger, we've talked about POS, and we've talked about Wallet. One of the things that I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about, and as the MoCA ecosystem grows and really becomes the Apple of crypto, there's a revenue component, RWE, that is added into MoCA. So, what is the vision for revenue? How will people be able to partake in earning revenue? And what will that look like when everything is built out and scoped out to your vision?
Um, I'm always being of the mindset of if somebody helped you on the beginning, you should help them when you're big. That's something that I've always had in my mind. Like you have to be grateful to people that was there in the beginning. And I think all these like new banks and apps that they just come to a new country or a new city and they kind of are giving away money just to get users, and they're like, yeah, refer us to your friends and then we'll give you money and whatever. Most of them are a one-time fee, and they have like this bunch of things like you have to like he has to put $10,000 and do this amount of transactions, and then you are eligible to redeem. Like it's like a scam kind of redeeming your referral money. That's how it works. But it's so flashy. Like you'll get $1,000 just to refer someone. That's what they do. But that's just for a small period of time. They get the users and then they forget about them. We don't want to go that route. We're actually putting out a referral system that it's a lifetime referral revenue. Yeah, lifetime. And that's not going to change. And that's something that it's carved in stone for me. And that's like, I've heard people in the team that they're like, what if later on, once we are like super big, we can like get rid of this, or like instead of giving this amount, giving less with the time? Like, no, if you were in the beginning and you are getting like 20 bips of the transactions through referrals, you'll get the 20 bips until the end of time and the end of MoCA. Eventually, never, because MoCA will be here forever. I hope. So you'll get that amount forever. That's something that I'm really really critical about, and I want to make sure, and I feel confident like being sharing this like it's gonna be forever. Like if you already earn it, it will be forever. How it's gonna work? You get your wallet or your messenger or your business, whatever you got. You there's a space in the app. There's a section in the app that you can go there and generate a referral code. You create your referral code and you can share that with somebody else. They install the app and they copy your referral code there, and then from that moment, that user, we don't know who is it, but we just know that this address, this crypto address, it's related to you permanently. What this means is that every revenue that MOCA gets from that user will always give you a small share of that revenue to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it's going to work. So that also works with businesses. So if you onboard a business and the business registers and uses your referral code when they create the business, every transaction that goes through MOCA to that business that generates revenue will give you a small revenue. So if you manage to onboard a big franchise like Starbucks or I don't know, Carl's Jr., and you were the one that brings them and they use your referral code to actually create the business on MOCA, well, that means that you will get for life a small portion of all the revenue that MOCA gets from all the transactions that go through that business to MOCA Pay. That's it. Like that's as simple as onboarding someone, onboarding a business, and whenever they generate revenue for MOCA, you will get revenue too. Lifetime.
I love that inherent flywheel for creating a decentralized swarm of BD folks, business development folks, basically people who will go out there espousing the merits of MOCA and trying to onboard businesses or large franchises simply for the fact that if they do the onboarding, then there is this mechanism that's baked in so that they can, in perpetuity, receive a portion of referral fees. I think that's a super interesting mechanism. As we wrap up and zoom out, what are kind of like the next steps for MOCA? You've mentioned that the messenger is in alpha. Um, there's some beta playgrounds where we're going to see the POS really start to take off and launch. Um, the wallet is, you're still fine tuning the UI with the wallet. So, what are the next steps? And at what point do you want to start onboarding a little bit more beta testers and a little bit more alpha testers?
Yeah. We are aiming for half of this year, somewhere around June, July. We're going to push hard on onboarding people into the product, especially the point of sale and the wallet. The wallet right now, it's in a stage that is really usable. It's really friendly for people that already know a little bit about crypto. It's not the ideal wallet for normies or new people, but it's really usable for people that already know what they're doing. That's gonna be out there. I invite everybody to download it or use the web version. Wallet.mocha.app. It's gonna be there, and mocha.app. It's our landing page with all the information of the products. So that's gonna be there, and you're gonna be able to actually pay with the Mocha wallet to the point of sale businesses or the e-commerce businesses. That's something that's gonna be there, and we need to have that working by June. That including what I'm not able to show you right now, but it's the pay with any wallet that should be there for the businesses and the e-commerce also there available. That's what I just explained of the QR code and opening all this process of showing you the address and the amount that you need to pay. That's gonna be there, and that's what we're gonna push for the second half of the year. We're just gonna push the business section and the wallet section. In the meantime, we're gonna start looking around the same time frame. We're gonna look for people that will wanna just help us test the messenger, and the messenger is going to be out there working for the people that want to be beta testers, and we will receive a lot of feedback, and we are going to start integrating the payment features in the messenger. So the messenger will be available around June, good enough or well enough that you can use it as a messenger, but no payment features yet. Then I hope that by the end of the year, we're going to have the public version of the messenger with the payment solutions and that will just go and instantly work with the point of sale. So that now you can send money through a messenger and we'll work with the point of sale. And we haven't talked about that, but we have an explorer that it's a multi-chain explorer that you can check all the transactions and it's already there. So you can check it out. And that's like all the products have a link for the transaction and see the details, and it will just open the MOCA Explorer and you will see the transaction info in the chain. So that's the idea. And once we have the pay with any wallet, we are going to start a raising of money round, just showing them how it works. Because I I know that there's been like a bunch of projects out there that are just an idea, and they've raised a lot of money, but I think they kind of burn the angel investors because they got tired of just investing in ideas that eventually never came to fruition. So that's why I just want to give them the phone and say, like, pay me, scan this QR code and pay me. And then they will test it and it will work and they will see that I got the money in my account and instantly, and like it's just working as it's supposed to. And then I send the receipt through the messenger and it works. So I just want to come to all these people that will really like to invest in MOCA with the products already working so that they can trust us and see that we're aiming for the long run. And we're not just trying to rug the project and like scam people, because that's what we're building for. We really want to be here for forever.
Totally. And I mean, you've been building quietly, stealthily since I've known you for a year and a half, going on 2 years now. So really looking forward to seeing the app hit mainstream, hit alpha and beta testers this summer.
Yeah.
You mentioned the website where people can go to check out MOCA. What's the best way that they can connect with you on socials?
Um, Once you download your MOCA Messenger, you can search for my handle. I'm gonna make this public so that you can actually find me and add me to your MOCA Messenger with @Zeymer, Zeymer. If you want to talk to me through the MOCA Messenger, you can do that. You can also scan this QR code if you want, and that will add me as friend in the MOCA Messenger. That's how available I am to, and I want to hear from people. But also in X, you can find us with mocha.app. Like the handle of the X account is mocha.app with letters, like not the actual dot, but mocha.app. That's our handle, and you can find us there, and you can reach us there also. And my personal account also in X is Zeymer Montes, @Zeymer Montes, and that's my handle. So you can find me there. Oh, no, I changed it. It's Zeymer MOCA now. So yeah, it's @Zeymer MOCA. You can find me in X there if you want. I'm always posting about MOCA or things related to the crypto ecosystem. Um, I'm gonna start pushing more and publishing more things related to the crypto world and crypto space and more news. Because now the actual mocha.app account is pushing more than MOCA things. But I'm gonna be more active talking about other things not MOCA related. So if you think that it makes sense to follow me, go and follow me there too.
Slap them with that follow. Well, Zay, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. It's been a pleasure to see you at IRL events over the past couple of years and to catch up whenever we've been able to. And I was happy to have you on the pod today. So thanks for the time.
I would love to show you whenever you come back to Mexico. I would love to show you the all the payment ecosystem working in my phone and or my tablet, and actually you paying something. I'll give it back to you, I promise. But just to do the full process, and if you want and you want to like record it so that you can share it with your followers and your viewers, that would be great. But if you only want to test it because it's nice and you want to see how it works and then share something in X, I would really appreciate it. But I'm pretty sure that you will like what we built and you will find it really easy to use.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you in DFA for ETH Mexico this year.
For sure.
All right, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day. Cheers. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Smart Economy podcast. To stay in the loop with all of our latest episodes and insights, head over to www.smarteconomypodcast.com And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our video content. If you enjoyed today's discussion, please consider showing your support by liking, commenting, and reviewing this episode on your favorite podcasting platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and bring even better content your way. We would also love to hear from you, so please drop a comment in Spotify or YouTube to share what topics you'd like us to cover or who you'd like to hear as our next guest. And if you or someone you know would make for a great guest, please consider reaching out. We're always on the hunt for fresh voices or new perspectives. And for our NEO token holders out there, please consider voting for NEO News Today as your council representative. We've proudly been serving the NEO ecosystem since 2017 and will continue to do so by putting portions of our council rewards directly back into ecosystem growth initiatives. So thank you one more time for listening to the Smart Economy podcast, and we can't wait to catch up with you next time.